Here, we'd invested all of our resources to live here because this is what we always thought we wanted, to get away from that Iowa farm that had turned into a biological desert, even though it was producing a lot of crops. I thought when we came up here, and we had the Minnesota River, and we still had wetlands, we still had all these things. I thought, gosh, this is what's going on here. The Clean Water Act is passed, and here you got a city, and a county, and a school district, and local farmers that are just wholesale draining like nothing has ever happened. And I couldn't understand. I thought, gosh, like it's right before our eyes. This is exactly what had happened where I grew up in Iowa. Well, the only difference is it was a few years later. When we went through the court litigation on the ditch, I was given personal damages for what it did to my property at the outlet. Initially in the river viewing, my property was considered wasteland, and the natural flow of the water. The county engineer maintained that I was neither benefited or damaged. So in the litigation, we had to hire another drainage engineer from the University of Minnesota at Morris, who disputed these findings. And what he said, and what has turned out to be true, yes, it was the natural flow of the water, but because of the fall, and my memory escapes me, but there's a significant fall in a mile, like 100 foot of fall in a mile, and to where it reaches the Minnesota River. And he said that this would increase the erosion of factor by a factor of 7. In other words, a 1-inch rain would have the erosion potential of a 7-inch rain. And as a result of this, there would be an additional 2,300 tons of silt deposited wherever this flattened out. And of course, that was the Minnesota River. So the result of this one little 3-mile ditch, an additional 2,300 tons of silt on average would be deposited in the Minnesota River every year. The water that drained from this tile line drained into my farm pond, which I thought initially was a good deal, but if the crop that was up here happened to be corn and there was a heavy nitrogen fertilization of it, then my pond would turn green. So first thing I did was restored this wetland and broke the tile. And I feel probably the best about this of anything that we've done. Here's a wetland that was planned to be drained because the county owned it, because it had no significant value as a wetland. It wouldn't grow good corn, and you couldn't build a house on it. But look what's here. Look at the geese on this wetland. Look at that big motel on the other side of the wetland overlooking the wetland. Look at the bicycle trail along the wetland. This is what they couldn't see. you don't have to take it all. You don't have to take everything. You got to put something back. And just because you're not getting something that you can eat or wear, there's a tranquility here. The spiritual rebirth that I get every time I go on the river. I don't know how you put a price tag